Good morning, Spartans. Today we bring you a special Memorial Day edition of the SLAMCast. As many of you know, Memorial Day is usually a school holiday, but the erratic winter weather of January and February has provided us with a unique opportunity to attend school and work on what's normally a day of rest. As a result, we have chosen to use this day as a teachable moment for our students and our staff. As an old history teacher myself, I relish the opportunity to step back into that role and bring a frame of reference to the true meaning of Memorial Day. Memorial Day began informally in 1868 when Union Major General John Logan declared May 30th as Decoration Day, a day to decorate the graves of Civil War dead. The date believed to be chosen because the spring flowers would be in bloom throughout the country. General Logan proclaimed, "We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. Let the pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no neglect or the ravages of time testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic." While Decoration Day was celebrated more and more following the Civil War, the holiday was not celebrated as a holiday for all war dead until after the Great War, World War I. As the years passed and our participation in foreign wars increased, Memorial Day, as it became known, was celebrated nationwide and was formally established by Congress in 1971. Sadly, today many of us forget that Memorial Day should be celebrated not as a day off from work and school, rather as a day to honor those who have given the supreme sacrifice for their country and their fellow man. From the mountains of Afghanistan currently and very recently Iraq, to the cold of Korea and the jungles of Vietnam, from the beaches of Normandy in 1944, American men and women have fought and died to give us the rights we hold so dear. They are our brothers, mothers, sisters, fathers, and friends. It is likely that we've all been touched by the loss of someone close to us. As you watch the rest of today's SLAMcast and as you go about your day, I would ask that you remember those whose lives were cut short so that you may live in a country like ours. Although our freedoms and those who fight for them aren't always in the forefront of our minds, on Memorial Day we should take a moment to honor them. As the Athenian leader Pericles stated over 24 centuries ago, not only are they commemorated by columns and inscriptions, but there dwells also an unwritten memorial of them, graven not on stone but in the hearts of men. Thank you for listening so intently, and I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day.
Over the years, many films have been released telling true stories of wartime heroes and the sacrifices they made for their country and beliefs. This past December, another such film was released.
Based on a true story, The Monuments Men features several men who were recruited to enlist as soldiers to find and protect buildings, monuments, and art. Approved by President Roosevelt, James Granger, played by George Clooney, brings together a crew of several men to return the stolen or missing pieces taken by the Nazis. The journey begins in Normandy, France, as the men split up in pairs in order to search multiple cities all over Europe. However, the Monuments Men run into problems on the location of the art, so they seek people involved with the resistance. Richard Campbell, one of the men, gets inside information through the records and information from Claire Simone. In comparison to other World War II films, The Monuments Men is much more than that, portraying an intense pursuit to the finish. It provided a refreshing change to constant violence and added the sense of unity within the realms of the battlefield. While this movie did feel slow at times, it relayed an important message of persevering to the end. The film captured a suspenseful, compelling storyline while also managing to highlight some comedic performances. Ultimately, the Monuments Men illustrate the ability to overcome the enemy, an effort to preserve valuable artwork that will be remembered for ages. Also, and in honor of Memorial Day, let us remember the sacrifice our soldiers took to uphold our freedom.
There are many who have given their lives for our country and the freedom we all enjoy. Here are just a few who have made the ultimate sacrifice. As a professional NFL player, Al Blozis started his football career with the New York Giants in 1942 at the age of 23. In the midst of the Second World War, Blozis was drafted into the U.S. Army. He served during the years of 1943 to 1945 as a second lieutenant in the 28th Infantry Division situated for service in the Vosges Mountains of France. Blozis was an exceptional combatant, setting the Army record for hand grenade throwing with a toss of 94 yards, 2 feet and 6.5 inches. In January 1945, a sergeant and a private from Blozis' platoon went missing. Al Blozis took the responsibility to find them. He went alone and never returned. Alblozis has been honored with an athletic center named after him by the U.S. Army in Frankfurt, Germany. In 1986, Blozis was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. John Basilone was born in the midst of the First World War in 1916 in Buffalo, New York. He began his years of service as a soldier in the United States Army in 1936 at the age of 20. He was registered in the 16th Infantry of Company D of the U.S. Army. A year into the Second World War, Basilone was enlisted into the U.S. Marine Corps, where he served under the treasured rank of gunnery sergeant. Deployed into the Guantanamo Bay, the Solomon Islands, and the Guadalcanal, he valiantly held off 3,000 Japanese troops after his 15-member unit was reduced to him and 2 other men. For extraordinary heroism and conspicuous gallantry in action against enemy Japanese forces, above and beyond the call of duty, Basilone was awarded the Medal of Honor in 1943 by President Franklin Roosevelt. He was posthumously awarded the Navy Cross for extraordinary heroism. Born in Waco, Texas in 1919, Doris Miller served in the United States Navy as a cook and was noted for his extraordinary bravery during the attack on Pearl Harbor. Miller was enlisted under the rank of Cook 3rd Class, in which he served until 1943. On the morning of December 7, 1941, Miller, after serving his breakfast mess, proceeded to collect laundry when he discovered the first of 9 torpedoes was launched by the Japanese. He headed for the battle station. Although unfamiliar with weapons, Miller portrayed immense courage as he charged to the battlefield and helped many of the men on board. Doris Miller's heroic actions that day were portrayed in the 2001 film Pearl Harbor, where his character was played by Academy Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Miller became the first African American to be awarded the Navy Cross, the 3rd highest honor by the U.S. Navy. Unfortunately, in 1943, Miller lost his life for our nation in the Battle of Macon Island, when his vessel was struck by another Japanese torpedo that caused it to sink within minutes. Doris Miller has since been honored with the Purple Heart, the Navy Cross, and the Combat Action Ribbon. His spirit continues to motivate young soldiers today. Even in today's world, there are young men and women sacrificing their lives for their country. Just 3 years ago, on June 25, 2011, Katy ISD graduate U.S. Army First Lieutenant Dimitri Del Castillo, only 24, died in the Kunar province of Afghanistan. He was on the radio calling in support for the men of his unit around him who had been attacked and wounded by small arms fire from enemy forces. While refusing to give up the radio so he could keep his men alive, he was hit and died with the radio mic in his hand. Coach Kolkman, who works with the freshman boys soccer team here at Seven Lakes, coached Dimitri for 3 years while he was in high school.
We've all met people that when you think about them, they just put a smile on your face, and Dimitri is one of those guys. I got to know him pretty well. This is often the case when you coach high school. You're with someone for 3 or 4 years. That ends up being hundreds of hours, and you just really get to know him quite well. You know, what people are going to remember the most about him is his infectious smile and laughter. It was amazing. He would just show up, smile, joke around, and lighten the mood, and it's a great quality. And he was also very unselfish. I can remember a lot of times someone else would be injured, and we needed someone to play out of position, and Dimitri was always that someone. And not everyone was willing to do that. Not everyone was willing to put themselves in an uncomfortable position for the betterment of the team. So when I heard about how he died in Afghanistan, just basically doing the same thing, you know, just putting his squad above his own safety and making that call to make sure everyone got out alive, it didn't surprise me at all, because that's the kind of person he is. You know, he's a hero.
Good morning, Seven Lakes High School, and happy Memorial Day. My name's Staff Sergeant Chance Chakowski, and I'm here to speak to you on behalf of you guys celebrating Memorial Day today. What Memorial Day meant to me as a child, I didn't really know too much about Memorial Day and what it stood for. I knew that my grandparents had served. Both one of my grandfathers served as an airborne cook, and I also had a grandfather that fought in the Korean War in the Air Force. Well, we all know the meaning of Memorial Day is to celebrate those men and women who have given their lives for what we have. The biggest thing that I would have to say that Memorial Day means and what their sacrifices mean for our country is the fact that we are free. That's what our forefathers founded our country on, and those sacrifices of those men and women is what led to where we are today. As a young child growing up in Florida, I never really left, never really was on an airplane or did much traveling. Joining the military has really added a lot of diversity to my life and being able to go around the world and do different things. So I've lived in 10 different places around the world. I've deployed to Iraq and I've deployed to the Philippines in support of the mission in Afghanistan. As a young person, the best way that you could honor someone on Memorial Day, mainly just be thankful for what you have, thankful for what your parents have given you and the abilities that you have as an American to live free and make the choices that you can make. I know a lot of people celebrate by going to national cemeteries and planting flags on the headstones and stuff like that of our fallen soldiers, but I don't think there's a cemetery near here where you guys could go do that, but that's one thing that a lot of people do when they do live around national cemeteries. But the one thing that I would like everybody to know on Memorial Day is that there's somebody out there in the world that cared enough about you, our country, and our way of life that they were willing to lay their life on the line for the freedoms and the way that we live here in America. In conclusion, I'd like to say thank you, Spartans, for allowing me to come in here and represent the fallen men and women of America here on Memorial Day. Thank you.